If you're an officer called to respond to a store where a security guard just got into a fight with a shoplifter, do you know what factors you need to consider? This video on issues involving security guards that I put out last year walks you through what you should think about and is worth a second look. An employee of an electronics store sees a man shoplift a cell phone and calls store security. A uniformed security guard responds and stops the suspect as the suspect tries to leave the store. As the suspect exits the store's main entrance, the suspect clenches his fists and, in view of other civilian witnesses, tries to strike the security guard. The security guard dodges the punch and successfully pepper sprays the suspect and handcuffs him. The security guard searches the suspect and finds the stolen cell phone in the suspect's left pocket. The security guard then searches the suspect's right pocket and finds an unlabeled pill bottle. The security guard opens the pill bottle and finds approximately 4 grams of methamphetamine inside. Was all of this legal? I'm Steve Serbalik. I'm a panel attorney with ASCOPS in Arizona, and this video will answer these questions. Number 1, did the security guard have to be licensed? Number 2, did the security guard have the lawful authority to detain the shoplifter? Number 3, did the security guard have the lawful authority to arrest the shoplifter? Number 4, was the security guard legally allowed to use force against the shoplifter? And number 5, did the security guard have lawful authority to search the shoplifter? Remember, this video is a topic summary and scenario analysis and not legal advice. And if you aren't in Arizona, the law may vary in your state. So if you find yourself in this scenario or something like it, contact your legal unit. So first, did the security guard have to be licensed? Here in Arizona, the answer is no. Under ARS section 32-2611, only members of a private security guard service are required to be licensed. So if the security guard was a direct employee of the store and not part of a private security guard company, the security guard did not need to be licensed. Number 2, did the security guard have the authority to detain the shoplifter? The answer is yes. This relates to the common law concept of shopkeeper's privilege, and per ARS section 13-1805, a security guard hired by a store may detain a person if the guard has reasonable cause that the person detained shoplifted. In detaining the suspect, the guard must do so in a reasonable manner and for a reasonable time for questioning or for summoning law enforcement. If the guard complies with this statute, the guard receives protection from civil and criminal liability for false arrest, false or unlawful imprisonment, or wrongful detention. Other than 13-1805, private security guards at stores have no other statutory authority to detain anyone absent the standard justification to make citizens' arrests. Which brings us to question 3. Did the security guard have authority to arrest the shoplifter? This answer is more complicated. A private security guard has no greater authority than a private citizen to make arrests under Arizona's citizen arrest statute, ARS section 133884, for misdemeanors amounting to a breach of the peace, which must have been committed in his presence, or for felonies. Arizona courts narrowly construe what qualifies for citizens' arrests, particularly for misdemeanors constituting a breach of the peace. Arizona courts have held that shoplifting does not constitute a breach of the peace, and a person who makes an improper citizen's arrest faces both criminal and civil liability. But remember, in this case, we have facts showing that the suspect tried to strike the security guard. Therefore, the guard could justifiably perform a citizen's arrest, as an assault in public in front of others is certainly a breach of the peace. Had the shoplifter continued walking out of the store and presented no threat of violence towards the guard or others, the guard could have used reasonable force to detain the shoplifter, but in using this force, he could not use force intended or likely to cause serious bodily harm for the sole purpose of detaining the suspect to investigate a shoplift. This relates to question 4. Could the security guard use force against the shoplifter? The answer is yes. Just like any other private citizen, a private security guard may use physical force if it's immediately necessary to protect themselves against unlawful physical force, or to stop trespassing, theft, or criminal damage. However, security guards and private citizens may only use deadly force if immediately necessary to protect against another's use or attempted use of deadly force or for certain specific offenses. If force is used while effecting a citizen's arrest, the person using force must comply with the same standards that officers must follow, found at ARS sections 13, 409, and 410. Finally, 5. Did the security guard have authority to search the shoplifter? Again, this answer is complicated. Since the initial incident involved shoplifting, the guard could search the shoplifter to retrieve stolen property. But this does not normally justify a search for evidence of an unrelated crime, unless the guard was performing an additional protective search for weapons. The guard could not search for evidence beyond the shoplifting. So, by the guard removing the pill bottle and opening it, he was arguably acting beyond his function of furthering the store's interest. Regardless of that fact, the Fourth Amendment does not protect citizens from private searches by security guards, unless the guards are acting as agents for or with the police. Because this pill search happened without any involvement, presence, or direction by law enforcement, the officers can seize the drugs and use them as evidence in criminal prosecution against the suspect. So here are the main takeaways. Security guards have limited authority to detain or search a criminal suspect, particularly if the detention or search happened to retrieve stolen property. Security guards have limited authority to arrest, and any use of force by a guard must be consistent with either their initial detention or what any other private citizen can use. And if security guards go beyond their lawful duties, they can be arrested for performing an unlawful detention, search, or arrest. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This makes YouTube more likely to show the videos to other people who may find the contents of this channel helpful. Videos come out every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. I'm Steve Cerbalic. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.